Welcome back here to the AFL-CIO's convention in St. Louis. I'm sitting here with Robert Roach. He's the president of the Alliance for Retired Americans. You know, look, pensions, retirement, something we've talked about here on this program quite often. Robert, thanks for sitting down with us.
I'm happy to do so.
You know, you look at what's gone on in the news here just recently. You saw the story about how Congress wants to basically do away with 401k contributions. And I can't help but think, you know, they took away defined benefits. Now they want to take away this defined contribution. What is the future of retirement in this country for workers?
Well, it looks very bleak because the General Accounting Office just came out with a 173-page document calling for Congress to create a committee to study this issue, because it's no more retirement security, it's retirement in crisis. And we have millions of Americans who worked hard, played by the rules, and expected the American dream. Right. And now they live in the American nightmare. And so with the 401k plans, it was a myth that everybody was going to be a millionaire. Now they want to cut the benefit from that. The defined benefit plans are in crisis, and there's a way to fix some of these things, but it requires money, and it requires that we not take all the benefits of our great country and give it to the rich. It requires that the government fund some of the programs that need to fix the retirement security in our country.
It takes the political will, and at the end of it, it comes down to us. I mean, you know, I look at, you know, Donald Trump becoming president, and you go, at what point do you think any of this is going to help working people? It's a major struggle of mine.
Well, it's not going to help working people, and that's why I'm happy to be working with people like Rich Fiesta and Joe Peters at the Alliance for Retired Americans, because we stand with the AFL-CIO affiliates, and we believe that there's a wall built, and that wall is the wall that stands between good and evil.
Right.
And we're standing there with them, protecting good, fighting evil with good. And I believe that the political will has to shift in terms of protecting seniors in this country. And we have to fund the programs that benefited the corporations. See, pension plans didn't disappear because we did something wrong.
Right.
It because corporations failed to operate as an ongoing concern, and they dumped their obligations onto the government. And so we need to flip the script, and we need to get the government and these corporations to pay their fair share into defined benefit pension plans. We need to maintain as much as we can of defined savings accounts, you know, defined contribution plans, and enhance people's ability to retire. Now, one important factor about this, when these corporations dump these pension plans and do things against 401ks, what happens is somebody's going to foot the bill, and it's the states and the cities that are footing the bill and increasing the ability for the states and cities to fund, and they have to tax more people, and then they say we're going to take away the tax benefit from the states and cities. So it's a never-ending cycle. So we're fighting hard. We believe that all of labor is fighting hard, and community activism is fighting hard, and we believe that shows such as yours that put this message out and let the people know there is, you know, by joining the union or joining your community activism concerning retirement, that's the way to go. All is not lost.
Right.
Okay.
You know, for me, it comes back to almost every issue. You know, sexual harassment, retirement, wage theft. I mean, you can go down, you know, safety on the job. All of that stuff, to me, can be addressed by simply having a union in the workplace where you deal with problems right there, front and center. And, you know, I look at our retirement crisis. A lot of this was brought on by companies stealing those pensions away.
Absolutely. You look at all the major airlines when they went into bankruptcy, terminated the pension plans, the steel companies going back, terminating pension plans. So I think that, again, they were bailed out. These corporations were bailed out by having laws that's able to dump your pension obligations to somebody else, which was America, okay? And now they're all making, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars in profits. So it's time to flip the script.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you go back to you know, they got bailed out and all of us got left out.
Absolutely.
And at some point, you know, politically, I hope we as a country come around to the reality that, you know, what we do for a living, the job, is really very important to our future.
It certainly is important, and that's why this is the greatest country in the world. And to maintain that greatness, we need unions and people joining unions so that we can have a collective voice in the workplace and a collective voice on Capitol Hill. That's what it's all about. If we don't have that strong voice on Capitol Hill and electing people to go on Capitol and do our will, the people's will, then we're going to keep going backwards. And so we need to make sure that we're electing people that understand retirement with security, that understand retirement with dignity, understand you know, having the ability to join the unions and not having these corporations have all these laws that destroy labor, and we can move forward. So all is not lost, but we just need an educational process. And again, we need people like yourself, and your radio station to get out there and let people know, yes, there's a way to forward.
Let me ask you this, because what we see coming out of Congress, and mostly out of the right wing, is an attack on that three-legged stool.
Right.
That we were told, save a little bit of money, a little bit of Social Security, a little bit of defined pension. You're going to be able to put together a retirement with some dignity and security.
Right.
They've whacked away the defined benefit. That's gone for the vast majority of workers. They're chopping at the leg of Social Security, and saving a little bit of your own money. Wages have been stagnant and actually declining for 40 years. What's someone going to do? Are we as a society going to allow Granny to be warehoused in a warehouse somewhere?
Well, again,
I mean, what does this say about us as a society?
It says that evil may be winning right now, and that we have to flip that and make sure that good wins out in the end, and that takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of education, because our younger people need to understand. Our younger people don't understand what's going to happen to them 30 years from now. They need to be understanding, so they will help fight for their future. Okay, and that will turn the tide. We got to stop listening to sound bites. Make America great again, all nonsense. I'm going to protect this, all nonsense. I'll protect that, and get some people in there in elected positions that's willing to work for the people. We have to have strong unions. People need to join the union and not turn away from unions. And this is another thing the government's trying to do with this Supreme Court that's coming up with Janus. That's looking to turn labor back another 50 years. And we have to continue to fight those issues and get people to understand the way to be is in the labor movement. That is what has made progress for decades, and we must continue to fight. You must continue to join the labor movement.
Yeah, last question, because I know you got to get going. You've been in labor a very long time.
Yes.
At what point, as a labor leader, do you say, we see all these attacks on Social Security, we see all these attacks on Medicare, we see all these attacks on Medicaid, on the New Deal era Fair Labor Standards Act, on the Wagner Act, go down the list. When do we admit that this is the end of labor peace? And at some point we have to become a much more militant working class, to where maybe we're energizing people to get more into the streets more often.
Well, I think what we have seen lately is not just labor, but people in general coming together, rallying in the streets and doing the things and bringing about this awareness. And that's what it's about, bringing around an awareness to get more people engaged, more people involved. Unfortunately, a lot of people we saw out in the streets, but people didn't even vote. And we got to educate people through these rallies, through educational process. Yes, we have to stand up. That's what made this country. A revolution made this country. It'll be a revolution, a peaceful revolution to protect this country.
Robert, I appreciate the time.
Okay, thank you
so much.
Okay.
Robert Roche, he's the president of the Alliance for
Retired Americans.
Retired Americans. Quick break back here from the AFL-CIO convention.
See you later.
You got the microphone.